Happy birthday, America. Today is July 4th in the year 2020, and I am Marty Cheek. I'm the publisher of two small community newspapers in towns in the southern area of Silicon Valley. And I'm doing this video to express some deep concerns I have for the state of our union right now. It's not healthy. Right now, we are a country that is divided against itself. And as Mr. Abraham Lincoln said, a house divided against itself cannot stand. So I'm looking at this 4th of July holiday as an opportunity for maybe America to do a reset of democracy and stop all the fighting that we've been having and start uniting as a nation, as a people. I'm concerned about what has been happening of late. The COVID-19 crisis that we're facing has been made much worse because of the lack of leadership we have as a nation and also on the state level. That's created an economic devastation of tens of millions of Americans who now struggle and don't know where their paycheck's going to come from if they've lost their jobs. And also the protests that we've been facing really has brought out the problems that we have as a nation in terms of the racial issues that we've had that go back 400 years. We are at a crossroads in our history in America right now, I think. And this 4th of July is just a time maybe that we can say, look, let's see what values and virtues that our nation was founded on. Human values, the values of, the golden rule, love thy neighbor, do the right thing. I don't know what is going to happen in the next 4 months, but I'm really sure that this coming election in November is going to create a really contentious environment politically, that we're facing maybe the divide of our nation and even the death of democracy if it continues this way. We have a lot of issues that we're facing right now as a nation that we're not facing because we're so polarized. We have two camps, ideological camps, and that's not healthy for a republic like ours to be so divided against itself. I often say it takes two wings for an eagle to fly, but you need opposite wings. You can't have everything on the one side or on the other, but you also have to have the mass in the center of an eagle, and you have to have the head of the eagle with its eyes looking forward for it to fly well. So right now we are two wings that are fighting against each other, and we're falling from the sky. We've reached such great heights as a nation over the course of 244 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And we've just, I think, given up on democracy, and it concerns me. My mom grew up in Berlin in the 1930s, and she saw the war in Germany and Europe from that point of view. She saw the rise of fascism very, very quickly when people just gave up on democracy. We're losing our free press. As a journalist, I'm seeing that happen right now, not just with our newspapers, but with other newspapers that are being hit financially because of COVID-19 and the decline in advertising revenue. And, potentially that could lead to the rise of propaganda in our nation, which will also result in the rise of tyranny as our democracy falls. So we're not in a good state. Our nation is very unhealthy right now. And I believe in America still. I believe in its values and virtues, but I don't believe we're going to survive very long if we continue along the path we've been taking, the path toward authoritarianism, which scares the hell out of me. So I'm going to ask for a big favor from you, my fellow Americans. I want to ask you to help me with a movement I call Vision-2020. I've spent the last 4 weeks getting up in the morning at 4, getting in the office, writing for hours, and going to bed at 10 p.m. and then doing my regular day job during the day, writing a book called Vision 2020, be a hero for humanity. And I want to get this published very quickly because I think the message is about unity, about bringing people together as Americans in a spirit of agape. It's a word, Greek word that is not used very often, but it basically is the highest form of love, according to the religions of the world, the love of humanity as inspired by God. So the book proposes some very ambitious goals for the next 20 years. And the chief one that I think is the most important and most inspiring, hopefully, is that by Christmas Day in the year 2040, humanity will have achieved a forever freedom from wars. I think that is something that has been the desire since, civilization began for humanity, for human beings, for men, women, and children, is let's have a truly peaceful world where people, get along, and we put away our ideologies and we don't fight for ideologies or resources. We learn as one human family to, work with each other. So that's my number one goal, but there's other goals. Obviously, climate issues, energy issues, gender issues, social justice issues. Education, we need to really reform our education system. So I'm going to ask a favor. I know you love America. You just do, I know. But do we really truly love America? And that to me means you take action. You are willing to sacrifice something, time, money, energy, effort, just something to preserve this great American experiment that we've been going through for 244 years and keep it going. And not just for our American Republic, but for humanity and our global industrial civilization, keep that going. So if you're interested in keeping America going as an experiment in democracy, I'm going to ask you to take 2 or 3 minutes to fill out a survey and let me know if you would be willing to help out in any way to create the movement of Vision 2020 to save our civilization and maybe even the human race from extinction. We face some really difficult crises in the next 10, 20, and 30 years. The biggest potentially is because of climate change and some other issues. We, as America, will go to war with China sometime, I'm guessing, between the years 2030 and 2050. To understand human psychology and also history, it's not inevitable, but it's highly probable. And I think that's a war that no one wants and no one can win. And it could bring in other nations of the world that have atomic powers that, we would basically bring an end to the higher forms of life on our planet if we go in that direction. And I think that's stupid for us to do. So July 4th, 2020, it's kind of a somber day for America right now, I think. We need to move forward as a nation and unite. I say stop fighting, start uniting. Well, this is our time to do it. The next 4 months, we are at a make or break point in our history. And if you love America, which I think you do, if you're patriotic in a sense that, let's acknowledge our faults and our failings and our frailties and fix them. But we've also acknowledged we also have done a lot of great things too. I can think of some right now in terms of our history that we have shown, agape in our history. So please participate in Vision 2020 if you love America and you feel patriotic. Your ideology really doesn't matter in terms of this movement. It's something that everybody who just believes in America and believes in humanity and believes in the golden rule will follow. So happy 4th of July, everybody, my fellow Americans. I love you all. I think we need to save our country, and I'm asking you to help me and it's hard for me to ask, but it's something that I think is something people are going to love doing once we, in 20 years, if we achieve all the goals of, Vision 2020, we're going to make a better world for everyone.